what do you think about crime and violence in media? Do you think it's necessary, and do you think it may influence people to committing crimes? Because I feel like there is that sort of little speculation of like, when you watch media, you want to emulate your heroes.
Yeah.
Tarantino's heroes, for example, they want vengeance, they want blood.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I think I'm gonna need a bit of time to answer to this because I
Yes.
think it's a very general question.
Yeah.
And you start from
It
saying,
is very general, sorry.
yeah, no, but it's because like then we're gonna definitely get into more specific. But
Yeah.
obviously there are some components that you, by watching media violence in medias, you may internalize something. It may lead to some aggressive behaviors.
Yeah.
But the link between actual violence, between actual, for example, offenses, crime, has always been researched a lot, and there's never a large effect size in all this research. And I don't want to be boring with all this, but yeah, of course. But there's many meta-analysis which will be taking a lot of studies together and statistically revealing if they actually all agree in one direction.
Yeah.
And almost never it was shown that there was actually a direct link between watching violent media in general, but more specifically, I would say film that portrayed violence to actual crime, to actual criminal behavior. But there is a lot of research that indeed shows that, especially in the short term, there is an effect on aggressive behavior. Okay. Because as you said before, you try to imitate, and there is research, for example, from the early 2000s that shows that already from television news, I think it's a bit of, at least for me, well-known topic that every television news is mainly about bad things because it's more rare to show.
I think people, they want to know. If there's no like obstacle.
Yeah, it's also a big topic in psychology. We're more we're more aroused in a way by negative emotions than positive ones.
It's weird.
Even though we should look for the positive ones.
Would you say it's more like innate than like within yourself, rather than you having to look at media to get the ideas?
Okay, I know what you mean. Yeah, so practically there's a bit of causation problem.
Yeah,
so,
I guess family and stuff.
Yeah, is it because you're already sort of at risk of committing, and then the media violence makes it worse in a way?
Yeah.
So what's the starting point? It could be. It could be, but it's still not shown because obviously you can manipulate that population. You can take, for example, kids that are more aggressive, that have shown more aggressive behavior, and kids that haven't, and then make them see media violence because, of course, we don't have enough information to say that it's sort of safe. So it's a bit unethical. But it is shown that obviously, like, for example, one research shows that even if kids had aggressive behavior, like as child aggressive behaviors, that does not mean that watching media violence made them commit crime.
Okay.
So it is not a given.
Yeah. Would you say it's a catalyst? Like
it could be, and for this, there's, for example, research looked into reoffenses. So they took already offenders. They sort of looked into if they actually had access to media violence, and then it's sort of a longitudinal study in which they actually then saw if there was a reoffending afterwards, and it did act as a catalyst, the media violence, because the people that did commit an offense and then also were exposed in a way afterwards to media violence, they did significantly commit a reoffense. So you could say that maybe media violence does have a very, very small effect into crime behavior or violence in general, because it does increase aggressive behavior. That's been shown in the short term. In the long term, there's not much evidence, but in the short term, especially on child and preteen and adolescents, even more when they're at risk, it does increase aggressive behavior, which then may lead to other. I think the most sort of dangerous thing is a sort of downward spiraling. Because as soon as you maybe are exposed to media violence, especially as a kid, you may try and imitate this behavior, aggressive behavior. And now it's a bit of an hypothetical discussion, but let's imagine that we take a child is exposed to media violence. Let's not even say that it's a child that already has aggressive behavior, or for example, a type A character, which it's more like aggressive, higher heart rate, more extroverted. But
Yeah. So
let's
there's
just
different
say,
types of them.
yeah, there's different types of people, of behavior patterns,
Yeah.
personality.
They have like a character profile.
Yeah,
so-
and it's this sort of character profile, which you can see maybe in movies as well.
Yeah,
There are people
definitely.
that are type A behavior. The most recognized example of a type A behavior person is someone that would get mad while driving to other
Okay.
drivers.
Yeah.
And the opposite is the type B, which will probably just not.
Yeah.
do
Try
anything
to
about it. Yeah,
not
just like
get
avoid.
involved. Yeah.
Not get involved. Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's not say that this child that is exposed to media violence as a type A. So we take it as someone that is actually not at risk
Okay.
of this aggressive behavior. Nevertheless, by being exposed to media violence, it will maybe increase through imitation. Being very objective, the main finding on media violence effect, especially on young people, is that it is a public health risk.
Yeah.
Because there's, for example, a meta-analysis or maybe a comprehensive review, I'm not sure, from almost between 2007 and 2009, that says that there's actually public health risk because of media violence. And they also found a significant effect. So
Yeah.
that
I can
means that it
see.
has
I
a
can see
negative
why.
effect.
I can see why.
Yeah, when we're not saying eliminate it, but being already aware of the fact that it does have an effect, and this effect is not positive on public health, maybe just confine it a bit, especially because we say, okay, it's especially on boys, and it's especially on adolescents, but also people at risk for aggressive behavior.
Yeah.